Hey guys, some time for a extremely rare live message because I've got something that is extremely important. So important that I thought that I needed to stream it at 12:41 on a Sunday evening. Do not listen to all the noise around the COVID passport and the idea of the. Okay, the point is there's a lot of talk about this scheme to incentivize unvaccinated people to get their vaccines. And the means that's going about, especially here in Ontario, is to incentivize people to get their vaccines by using their phone as an open sesame gesture to get their way into nearly every public building that is non essential. Um, Here's the thing, a piece of paper and your ID is a piece of paper and an ID. It's a single use thing. A phone, if we get used to waving our phones around, if I just grab my phone and I wave it around to get in as like a passport to get into places because of one reason, I'll do the same thing to get in for a second reason, for a third reason. Phones are universal devices because this is actually, it's not a phone. It's a microcomputer. It's a device which I own, a personal computer, which is just very tiny and pocket sized, kind of like my Palm Pilot. Okay, so actually, this is my Palm Pilot right now, but pretty soon I'm gonna switch to my super sexy M500. Look at that. Okay, well, let's just compare. I got my M500. And I got my old clunky Palm 3. Right? Look at that big chunky plastic, slim, sexy steel Palm 500. So the thing about a computer is that it's anything to the likes of 99% of people who own computers but aren't super nerds like me. I'm a super fucking nerd. I love this. I love the universal programmability, the infinite potential. This thing has infinite potential. It can do anything. You know what you can do with a 16 megahertz processor and 8 megabytes of onboard memory? At The math is mind blowing. Literally, we reached the future 30 years ago, and everything else is just like a disgusting satiric elaboration of power upon what we've got, right? Computers have been around for a very long time. Home computers been around since like late 70s, and that was the deliverance of potential, the potential for literally the universal anything, any software can run on your home computer since the late 70s. So it's that like 50, almost 50 years, like 40 years, but coming up on 50 years, depending if you had the money. I get it, capitalism, whatever, I don't care. The point is, the world has only experienced a slim, tiny, minuscule, infinitesimal fraction of the possible software that can run on computers you own. And you own it. And then, like 15 years ago, Steve Jobs, that jerk, went and stole your safe telephone, that safe medium that did one thing well, and stuck a computer in your pocket, and they called it a phone. They called it a phone. And that made it feel all safe and comfortable. Oh, yeah, look, it's a phone. It's got buttons. You dial the number, just like my real phone. But no, that is an infinite potential fucking microcomputer. And if we start normalizing, we start getting used to waving this thing around to replace our physical driver's license, our physical passport, our physical debit card, our physical credit card, which already happens. I mean, I work retail. People are paying for their purchases by waving their watch on my debit pad all day, and it's no, you do not want to centralize your entire life into a single internet connected antenna equipped device. This thing's a little better. There's no antenna on this. The great thing about the Palm M500, and I had an M515 in high school. I had one of these when they were new. It's just a slightly better color model. This is the black and white one, but I had a color one in high school. It's got the SD card slot there. You can see it. I can fit a 2 GB SD card slot in there to upgrade the 8 MB of onboard memory on this, and I could have little. Okay, what can fit into 2 GB? A dictionary, most of the most important articles on Wikipedia, all the most important books written in the last 500 years. Like, again, content is the last couple decades we've been living in infinite content, and it's gotten so ridiculous now that culture is breaking down in the satirical excessive mode of too much content. And people are numb to it. People are numb to it because they don't even know where to start on all this stuff. So my point is, in the here and now, right now, it's a very immediate issue here in Ontario, as my touchstone. You gotta go show your ID and your vaccine passport to get into a restaurant or a bar or a gymnasium or a dance club or a strip club, and that's a very bad precedent because they're including smartphones. They shouldn't include smartphones. Literally, they should not include smartphones. They should make it paper only. And the reason they should make it paper only because a piece of paper is a piece of paper. It's a limited time, and you throw away the piece of paper, and you don't have it anymore. But if we normalize waving phones to walk into every front door of every business on Main Street, if we normalize that for one reason, we've normalized it for every reason because people are apes. We're all a bunch of monkeys. We're all a bunch of we just, if you normalize, if you get used to just waving your phone at a thing to walk into a front door of a business, the reason won't matter. Why? The reason will not matter in 2 years, 5 years, 10 years, 20 years. And if you can't think on these time scales, if you can't think of what habits made today paying off 20 years from now, you've just surrendered all of the fucking civil rights for the entire fucking free world, and you destroyed the West because of a very immediate situation where this disease is going around and we need to incentivize people. Right? The short-term expediency of getting people to vaccinate is not worth the cost of selling out for all of eternity human civil rights by normalizing waving a universal computing device which is network connected to the entire fucking news sphere, the zeitgeist, the I'm sorry, this language is like explanatory for me, but not for everyone. You're making people into Borgs. You're literally making people into fucking Borg. You're creating the Borg when you normalize using cell phones and QR codes to wave your way into places. Don't fucking normalize that. If you want a fucking temporary pass, put it on a piece of paper that will expire, because this shit needs to expire, and we need to go back to walking around in public without waving our computer at a person every 10 minutes, because we can get used to that. We can get used to that. We will get used to that. 95% of the enslaved Borg will get used to walking around waving their phone 10 times a day, 20 times a day, 50 times a day to walk in the front of every store they want to. And the last 5% will be basically exiled from all of society. And it'll be, well, it's the death of liberalism, let's put it that way. The death of free rights, the death of the West, the death of human spirit. I can't keep going along this. I could go on forever, but don't do that, please. Cheers and good night. I promise to make more of these videos soon if you like them.